Ladies and gentlemen, recruiting fans across the nation, welcome back to another episode of Roll Up Varsity. I am Connor CJ Clark.
And this your boy Sticks.
Sticks, we are back at it again this week. Big time recruiting weekend across the college and high school football landscape.
Yes, sir.
But before we get into all that stuff, man, how was your week? What'd you get into? Let
I
us know.
told you every time you ask me this, I should start jotting it down or something, so I know what to say because I don't be remembering. I mean, the only thing that really stuck out so far was just getting my daughter ready for the first day of school, which was today. She had a great first day. Her going to second grade is still crazy to me because I remember when she was a little baby, I used to think like my nose was her baba. You know what I'm saying? Used to think that I would be sucking on my nose. Now she's like smart, learning, talking back. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So I got to do the meet and greet yesterday, meet her teacher, introduce her to the teacher. Real nice teacher. Looks strict, which is good because my daughter needs that discipline. She got ADHD just like me. So that was mainly what it was. And then got to see her have a first day. It's always good. How about you? What'd you get into?
Man, it was good. I had my mom's been out of town for the last 3 weeks or so. So she came back into town. My dad had my wife, myself, my sister, and her boyfriend over to the house. Hung out by the pool, ate some barbecue. Got to see my mom, visit with my mom for a little bit because I haven't seen her in a while. She was out of town with some family, like I said, for about 3 weeks. Other than that, man, just busy weekend writing, getting stories ready for the big weekend that happened this weekend for recruiting for the team that I cover specifically, but just really covering everything, man. But it was good. It was good. It was a great weekend. Had a good time. Wife and I had kind of like that. I told you Sundays pretty much our days, especially when football season comes around. So
You get a
we
game in. You get one game.
yeah, yeah. I get the one game in, but football season hasn't started yet on that end. So we had a
Right.
good day together. Went out, got some breakfast, and did some running around, and then hung out.
Yeah, it's
Really,
always the
really just a
best.
good weekend though, man. Really enjoyed spending time with the loved ones. But before we get moved on to the episode, if you guys are watching on our YouTube video, we've got our guy Taylor in here.
Yes, sir.
He is actually the person that is responsible for all of our YouTube videos and getting all those up. We definitely wanted to shout him out. Taylor, what did you get into this weekend, sir? Join us in for a little bit.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
first of all, thank you, boys, for real. I love doing that. I'm gonna get better. It's just fun. But right now, man, I'm here with my dad and my girl. We're in Destin, Florida. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. So we drove. How long was it? Like what? 9 hours? It's like 8 or 9 hours. Came down like Saturday morning. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's what the background is.
This man's got the beautiful scenic background too. He's got the big picture window sitting behind him.
Perfect time to
This
have
this
him
is a
on.
great time to have that window behind him.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
Taylor, we really appreciate you throwing all the YouTube videos up, man.
Yes,
We would
sir.
not be able to do what we do without guys like you and Cam helping us out. So we really appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah,
Thank
big
you.
shout out to you. Appreciate all the hard work you're doing and all the fans that be listening. Just know this is the person behind the scenes that really gets these videos up and the thumbnails and all the content that y'all get to visually see as well. So big
Appreciate
shout
you.
out, my boy.
Thank y'all for real.
Absolutely, man. But Curtis, let's get into this episode, man. Before we get moving on to everything, obviously want to shout out our title sponsor, Sativa Doll. Sativa Doll is a veteran-owned company that offers 3 different products: CBD soft gels for you and your pets, and then roll-on for pain relief. The soft gels come from a trusted source that manages the product from seed to sell and are often recommended by medical professionals as part of your regular wellness routine. The roll-ons formulated by pharmacists with quick and effective results and has a menthol for extra cooling relief. Guys, like we tell you every week, please go check out sativadol.com, purchase their products, use promo code varsity25 for 25% off your order. Show love to the podcast, show love to the people that sponsor us, and we will get these things moving.
Yeah, big shout out to them. I'm always a big advocate for the pets part of it, but they got the human part of it too. So make sure y'all go show love. Varsity 25, get that 25% off. Support us, and then it actually ends up helping you guys out as well.
All right, Curtis, if you want to jump into those top schools, man, let's get into those, and then we'll move on to the commitments.
Let's get it. Let's get it. As me and Connor said before, the top schools is going to end up more shrinking down because more kids are really getting to that point where they lock down decisions. So commitments are kind of going to be a wider range, and then top school is going to be a lot shorter. But we'll run through these real quick. And starting off with these high school teammates, the number 2 D lineman James Smith and number 3 edge Quay Russo. They're from Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama. They've narrowed their list down to top 6 schools, and they've kept it completely identical. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to play the same spot next level, but a lot of times when kids do this, especially going to the same high school, they end up doing that. The top 6 schools are Florida, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and they're showing love with Alabama State being in their top 6 as well. Then we're going to go over to the 4-star, number 7 offensive tackle, Lance Hurd. He's from Neville High School in Monroe, Louisiana. He's narrowed his list down to 5, those being Houston, LSU, Nebraska, FSU, and Florida. Me personally, this is a kid, I don't think he's underrated when it comes to ranking, but I don't think he's known enough. Even if you go by his followers on social media, he's in the 2000s, I believe. He's somebody with his talent, I think, should gain a lot more notoriety, but that'll come with the process moving along. So big shout out to him. Again, me and Connor love to shout out kids that don't get enough exposure, whether that's rankings, being failed in the ranking system, or being failed when it comes to the exposure that they need. So that's one kid I want to point out real quick. And then moving over to the 2024 class, Kavion Henderson. He's from Leeds, Alabama High School. He's cut his list down to 5, being a 2024 kid. That's huge, especially since he had 36 offers to choose from. So going there and cutting it down to 5 this early, he must really know where he's going to go, in my opinion. And these schools have done a great job pressing in and recruiting him. Those schools being Georgia, Arkansas, Cincinnati, Auburn, and Oklahoma. That's it for the top schools. I don't know if you want to jump into commitments. If you need me to help you out, I got you, Connor.
Yeah, man. Short and sweet list this week for the top schools.
Nice and easy.
Easy for you. No hard names to pronounce or anything like that. So you got off
Close,
easy
close.
on this one.
Yeah.
You got off easy on this one.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
But before we get into to our commitments, man, obviously just want to shout out our other sponsor, Your Brother's Apparel Company, Dying to Self, new sponsor that we just started with last episode. Really excited about this one. But Dying to Self is a faith-based clothing brand that is all about selfless living, designed with various aesthetic and neutral styles of shirts and hoodies with top quality and comfort in mind. Use promo code Varsity10 for 10% off your order to help support the podcast. Once again, that's Dying to Self, a clothing company. Curtis, if you looked last week at our YouTube video, Curtis was wearing one of their most popular hoodies. He showed it off on the YouTube video a little bit. Really great quality products, man. And really, really excited that these people have decided to come out and support us. So obviously, please, guys, go out and support them for doing that.
Yes, sir. Varsity 10, go in there, get that 10%. Like I said last episode, it's my brother's brand, real good brand, that's real good. So y'all go check that out. We'll end up dropping the link under our podcast tweet. So you guys could check for Sativa Doll and also Dying to Self. Go show some love, support us, and then support those brands that have been supporting us.
All right, we'll get into the commitments for this week. Big weekend for a number of programs. Obviously, Florida made a lot of waves in the media this week for landing a couple of really big-time prospects. But this weekend was not just what happened. I think a lot of people kind of lost in the shuffle that they also landed 4-star linebacker Jaden Robinson, who flipped from South Carolina. I think it was on the Wednesday right after we recorded our podcast last week, before it dropped on Thursday. So we weren't able to cover that one last week. But they landed.
We recorded.
Yeah,
we talked about it once we went off air, And I dropped my little hint of who it
Yeah.
was. Low key, we could have talked about it on the
We
podcast, but the
probably could
podcast
have,
was
but
dropping Thursday. But
yeah, but
you never
that's
want to
one of those
risk it.
situations where we don't want to ruin a young man's moment.
Imagine you
We
pushed it
never
back.
want to do that to any
Yeah,
kid. They should have every right to do it on their own terms. But
exactly.
Florida landed 5 4-star prospects in the last week, 4 of them from the 2023 class and 1 of them from the 24 class. Obviously led off by linebacker Jaden Robinson, who flipped from South Carolina. Then number 6 defensive lineman Kelby Collins committed to Florida over Alabama, Georgia. Can't forget what the other school was that was in his finalists. I can't remember, but it was Alabama and Georgia in there as well. Will Norman kind of surprised everybody when he announced, when by everybody I mean the general public, when he announced his commitment to Florida on late Saturday evening.
Varsity alum Will Norman.
Varsity alum Will Norman, yes. Also, another defensive lineman. Florida loaded up on the defensive line this week. Orlando's finest, Cameron James from Olympia High School. And then yet another varsity alum, 2024 number 2 linebacker in the country, Miles Graham, who we had an extensive interview with, as well as Will Norman. You guys can go check those interviews out. We have both of those ones. I know we have Miles up on YouTube. I think Taylor's working on getting Will Norman's up on YouTube as well. But both of those podcasts are up. Taylor, you want to correct me on that?
I was just going to say Will Norman is up right now.
Awesome. So both of those are up on YouTube. Please go check those out. Really great interviews. Varsity alum showing out this weekend by making their commitments. But then we'll move over to Louisville, who had another really good weekend.
Let me jump in real
yeah,
quick.
please go ahead, Curtis.
Because just to talk about Cameron James, he's someone that I personally think should be bumped in his rankings, even though he's rated consensus like 92. I thought he was going to get a bump.
Lot lower than that, sir.
Right, that's what it was, right? And then I thought he should get bumped up high. I mean, I think he's somebody who could end up being a high 4-star. And after his commitment, he ended up getting dropped into the 91s. So I don't understand where that went into, especially since there hadn't been any extra camps going on since his last update. Just real perplexing to me.
Yeah, I've kind of spoken extensively about that one with a few people. I did my research. Nobody's rankings changed. Rivals is obviously updating their rankings right now. They just released their new Rivals 250 today, and they're going to continue to update rankings throughout the week for positional rankings, state rankings, stuff like that. But when Cameron James announced his commitment, his composite ranking on 247, which is what we always use, was 188. And then a couple hours after he announced his commitment, he dropped to 221 with no sites updating any rankings at all.
Could understand.
Pretty interesting situation. He now currently sits at 218 in the 247 composite. So I'm not sure how, when nobody updates any rankings at all, you can make an adjustment like that.
Right.
I will say On3 has him as the 23rd ranked prospect in the country, which is extremely high and really an anomaly as compared to everywhere else. But Rivals has him as a 5.63 star, which is also an anomaly. So I think those ones kind of cancel each other out. I do think he's a prospect that at the end of the year could end up being in the top 100 and even push for the top 50.
That's what I thought.
Somebody that is very, very underrated. But I digress, and we won't go into the rankings.
Yeah, let's not go
too deep into that.
It's a flawed system. I just don't understand where the rankings, especially the composite rankings, goes based on a composite of sites. If there's no change, how is there a change into the composite? I personally don't understand.
That's a wonderful question, sir. But we'll move on.
Let's go into Louisville and their big weekend.
Let's get into Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville landed 2 4-star commitments from the state of Florida in wide receiver William Fowles and linebacker Stanquan Clark, both from the Miami area. Now, Stanquan Clark, I think for a while was kind of, everybody thought maybe Miami. Louisville seems to be coming in and landing some of those kids from South Florida, doing a really good job recruiting down there. William Falls was somebody that I don't think many of the teams in the state of Florida, aside from maybe Florida State, was still recruiting heavily. But still, nonetheless, a good commitment for Louisville. Alabama landed 2 offensive tackle prospects this week, one being 4-star offensive tackle Miles McVay from St. Louis, Missouri, and the second being Raymond Pulido from Apple Valley, California. And then we move over to LSU, who had a big weekend, landing 3, and not very surprised here, in-state 4-star prospects. Not a lot of kids leave the state of Louisiana when LSU is good, and even sometimes when they're not good. So LSU's done a wonderful job of recruiting their state this year. Obviously, we discussed this commitment last week in number 13 quarterback Ricky Collins from Woodlawn High School. The varsity crew continues to shoot 100% on their predictions with their prospects that we discuss. Then number 10 safety Kylan Jackson from Zachary High School committed, as well as number 16 athlete Kai Preen from St. James High School. Curtis, you want to take the next few?
Yeah, I got you. Hold on. I lost the list, man. Where was the last one you were at?
Next prospect's going to be Cedric Baxter.
Oh, the famous Cedric Baxter.
Oh yeah, the
Central
famous
Florida's finest.
Orlando's finest, sir.
The one that was going to Florida, according to that source on Twitter. Hey, he
I
owed Nelly
I tried to get my money too. He wouldn't do it.
You see that, man? And Nelly locked in a $100 bet. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if he ends up paying up. I doubt it. Those accounts never pay up. But going over to 4-star, number 4 running back Cedric Baxter Jr. From Edgewater High School in Orlando, Florida. He's committed to Texas over Texas A&M, Florida, and Miami. Me and Connor remain 100% with our predictions as we've listed. If you listen to this podcast, you're basically getting where these kids are going before they go there. All right, so tune in, listen in. Don't skip past, after the interview. Listen to that real content that come after that, okay? Then we're going to go over to 4-star, number 6 athlete, DB Johnson. He's from Mustang, Oklahoma. He's committed to Oklahoma over in-state Oklahoma State, Alabama, Michigan, and Stanford. Oklahoma's done a great job of recruiting in and out the state through a head coaching change. So that's really good, especially beating another in-state school, and beating out Alabama is never easy, especially when you're a new head coach trying to prove yourself. So good job there with Oklahoma. Then we'll go over to the 4-star, number 15 cornerback, Jordan Matthews from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's committed to Tennessee over Texas, Michigan. That's a huge pickup for Tennessee. They also landed a 3-star cornerback, Ricky Gibson from Trussville, Alabama. I mean, last week I messed that up, and I thought I said Alabama, but I said Louisiana. When I went back and listened to it, I was like, oh man, I did. So I'm just happy that I got it right this time. He chose them over Georgia and Penn State. So great job keeping him there.
Man, two really good recruiting wins for Tennessee. Because if you look at those crystal balls, Curtis, I know you say you don't listen to him too much, but Jordan Matthews was 100% crystal ball to Texas. I think it was only 1 or 2, but it was 100% to Texas. Big recruiting win there. And then also Ricky Gibson, who Georgia really wanted, ended up committing to Tennessee. Another big-time recruiting win. So that's huge for Tennessee to be able to win recruiting battles against schools like Texas and Georgia.
Yeah, to win a recruiting battle against Georgia, the defending national champion, and also a team that broke the record for most defensive players in the first round. To win that battle as Tennessee, that's a lot. I mean, they're doing a real good job recruiting. Have a 5-star quarterback committed as well. That could help on the offensive and defensive part of the ball. So, real good job there from Tennessee. But personally, I'm surprised. So we'll move on though. 4-star safety Jaden Bonsu. He's from St. Peter's Prep in Hillside, New Jersey. He's committed to Ohio State over Penn State, Michigan State, and Miami. Which for a while Miami fans would have been shocked because he was a lean there for most of his recruiting process. But coming down to the end, they kind of understood that he wasn't going to end up going there. And Ohio State did a good job closing quickly on that recruitment. Now we're going to go over to the 4-star athlete, Ronan Hanafin. Hey, Connor, I got it. Give me the thumbs up. I'm good or no?
I don't know, man.
Hanafin?
I would have pronounced it Hanafin.
Hanafin?
Hanafin.
All right. Okay. Ronan Hanafin. His parents are so mean, man. Ronan Hanafin? Come on, son. From Cambridge, Massachusetts. Is that where he's from? He's committed to Clemson over more than 20 other offers. Clemson doing a good job continuously recruiting over the years. So this is no surprise here. Shout out to Mr. Hanfin going over to Clemson. Now to go over to the 4-star athlete, Kenyon Sadiq, Skyline Senior High School, Idaho Falls, in Idaho. He's committed.
You like how I gave you the second half of the list with the harder names.
Yeah, I literally in my head while I'm reading his name, I'm like, oh, this is the setup. Because usually you're the guy who has the tough list.
I'm always the one that's gotta tackle the names.
When I read Sadiq, I'm like, aha, I get it. I see what's going on here.
Yes, sir. Kenyon Sadiq.
Hey, keep me on point, man. I need it. Keep me on my toes. So he's committed to Oregon over Michigan, Washington, and Iowa State. Good get over there, Oregon.
And Oregon was not in his final 3 schools. Actually, the final 3 was that Michigan, Washington, and Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people were very surprised when he made that commitment to Oregon because they were not in his top schools. So big pickup for the Ducks there.
Yeah, big pickup there. And fun fact about Oregon, they're actually doing really good in basketball recruiting right now. I know it has nothing to do with the podcast, but I was looking at basketball recruiting. Obviously with NIL and Nike, that has a real big influence in the basketball scene, especially the shoes.
They just got a prediction for Bronny James.
Right. LeBron's son, Bronny James, aka LeBron James Jr. They got a prediction to be the one that lands him. I think they said in the article acquires him, like it's the NBA draft, but that's pretty cool. So to see that there, that's a fun fact from Oregon. And then we'll go over to 4-star wide receiver Carmelo Taylor. He's from Patrick Henry High School in Virginia. He's committed to Penn State, so staying up north over there. Then going the Nittany Lions also landed a 3-star quarterback Jackson Smolik. He's from Dowling Catholic High School in Iowa. He's filling the QB void that the Gators created by flipping their former commit Marcus Stokes. Smolik was a Elite 11 finalist, so they did a good job recruiting there. Personally, if you put them head to head, I think Stokes is the better quarterback. Same reason why they had him committed first over Smolik, but still good get, especially landing an Elite 11 kid as a second option. Real tough to do. So good job there filling that void, and pretty quickly, as they didn't have that void for long. And then going over to 4-star quarterback Chris Parson. He's committed to Mississippi State over SMU, Virginia Tech, and TCU. Parson was formerly committed to FSU, where me and Connor had really spoke on how they boggled that process of going from 1 QB to 2 QBs to 1 QB to none. They ended up doing that there, and he ended up finding an SEC home, which personally me think it's a better fit, especially in that air raid offense that gets ran there by their new coach.
And we'll be joining podcast alum Seth Davis over at Mississippi State.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Podcast alum, the most professional
the most professional setup we've ever seen.
Setup that we've ever seen on this show. So he ends up being able to hand the ball off to Seth Davis. Huge kid. Great combo I think they got there. And like I said, he's going from the ACC to the SEC with a real air raid type of offense. So I think it ended up being a blessing in disguise how FSU ended up playing that out, and he found a home. Then we're going to go over to 3-star safety Kenton Kirkland. He's committed to FSU, so some good news for FSU there over SEC school, Kentucky, which me and Connor always talk about how they do a good job evaluating. So this is a big win for me personally, in my opinion, when it comes to FSU beating out Kentucky. I said.
Nice recruiting win for them, man. No, you're good. Nice recruiting win for them, because I think up until about maybe 3 days ago, or 3 days before his
He was
commitment,
going
I
to
should say.
Kentucky. Mhm.
Everybody thought he was going to Kentucky. And then you kind of got the smoke on the timeline. If you follow any Florida State fans or anything like that, you saw them
Yeah.
starting to hype up the defensive backs coach. So I guess they did a good job closing in the last few days to make sure that they held off the Wildcats from landing that commitment. He's a kid from Jacksonville. So obviously, if you're Florida State, you want to keep that homegrown talent in the state of Florida. They already let one go to Kentucky, and Jeremiah Anglin. Would have been really devastating if they had lost another one to Kentucky. But it looks like they did a really good job of getting him to stay in the state of Florida. And somebody like you said, Curtis, I'm a bit higher on than maybe some of the sites. I think
Yeah.
he's somebody that's much better than his ranking. I think he's good enough to be a 4-star prospect, and somebody that I know a couple of staffs in the state of Florida really liked. Obviously, there's different things that go on in that situation with the recruiting process, but Kenton Kirkland is a very good prospect and one of the better prospects in Jacksonville this cycle. So really, really nice get for Florida State there.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like I said, beating out Kentucky, who does a real good job evaluating. So a lot of schools really look at who Kentucky evaluates and then jumps on later. And FSU being able to do that and keep a kid from Florida in state, that's always really important. Which another school in Florida that's done it is the Gators, keeping in-state kids in state. So big win there with that part of beating out an SEC school that's actually been successful recently. And then also keeping the kid in state. And then the last one that we're going to go to is Zach Marshall from California. He's committed to Michigan over schools like Arizona and California. Athlete out there. So he ends up going out to Michigan over Cal. That's huge for Michigan when it comes to recruiting Brennan Kidd cross country for that.
Now, I will say Michigan in the past and definitely recently since Harbaugh's been there has done a really good job of recruiting the state of California. It's not often that you get a kid to go from that beautiful weather, bright sunshine out in California, fly all the way across the country and go play in that freezing cold tundra that is Michigan in late November. So really good recruiting win for them. And I actually do want to highlight one more prospect that announced his commitment a couple days ago. I forgot to add him into the outline, Curtis, so I'm going to throw him in here last minute. It's J.C. Hart, committed to Auburn. JC is a prospect that had a Final Four that he announced about 2 weeks ago with UCF, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. So good get for Auburn there. But without any further ado, man, we've got our guest waiting on us.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get him in here. For those of you that are watching the YouTube video, you'll get to see my guy over here. But we have 4-star cornerback Dijon Johnson joining us this evening.
What's up, my boy? I'm happy you got that do-rag on. I ain't gonna lie.
Got the do-rag on.
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Looking fresh, man. Dijon, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just coming off a good day of practice, just grinding out here for sure.
Yes, sir.
I respect it, man. I respect it.
Hey, I'm personally happy you got a do-rag on because last time I seen you, ain't line you up right, my boy.
Hey, cuz, it was just growing back.
Hey, they didn't have you needed to get that lineup before you showed up to FNL, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
it's the process though.
Hey, I'm with God. Sometimes, man, we just wait it out. Sometimes, it ain't no pressure.
It's the process, yeah, for sure.
Hey, I got you, man. You good. But hey, first question we always like to ask everybody when they come on here. For those people that don't know Dijon Johnson, give us a little bit of backstory of who you are personally, not just football, man. Obviously, just the kind of person you are and how you've gotten to where you are today.
I'll start off by saying I'm a great young man. I help out in my community. I help the younger guys in my community. I have younger brothers that's looking up to me, so I'm just paving the way and showing them what steps they could be in the next couple of years. So, also, I'm a family guy. I love to be around my family. I'm big on family and in relationships, period. that's a big deal for me. I like creating and building relationships. I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's something I could vouch for. I've been around him personally. He's a real good guy, and he got his head on his shoulders. Which, when you're around all these kids, you kind of see some that don't have it, and he's somebody that definitely got it. So, I appreciate you for jumping on and stating who you are, my boy.
No doubt, bro.
So first off, we want to kind of go through. You're obviously one of the top high school prospects in the country. What is it like? Because I talked to you at FNL, man. You said you had like 500 plus text messages you can't even get to. What is it like to kind of have to go through that process? Because you're getting contacted constantly from coaches all across the country. Is it stressful? Is it kind of a blessing? Is it both? Like how does that work?
It's definitely stressful, but it's a definitely a blessing too at the same time, because like you getting all these opportunities, you connecting people that you've been watching since like you was growing up and wanting to meet these people. So it's a blessing for sure. But uh, I'd say like if I wasn't in the position I am today, I would say like I'll be wanting them, like I'll be wanting this type of attention, like and like coaches reaching out to me a lot, because if I ain't have everything on my plate that I got today, it'll be kind of like a little stressful on my end, because it's like what I'm doing wrong for not to be in position I see everybody in. But it's a blessing for sure.
For sure. And me personally, when it comes to high school football, I think Florida is the best state when it comes to high school football. Hence why we got the most players that usually get drafted. So how do you feel high school football in Florida prepares you for the next level?
Uh, I feel like it's great because it's dogs in Florida. Like e- each and every day, you got players that you competing with, and they great players. And each and every week, you got another great players. You got great teams. So it definitely, I say, it prepares you down here in Florida, and the speed different down here too.
That Florida speed is definitely different. But so obviously outside of just high school football, man, you had the opportunity to compete at the Future 50 camp, which not a lot of kids get the opportunity to do so. What was that experience like for you? And do you think that seeing kids from all over the country, some of the best, has prepared you for the next level as well?
I'll say it's definitely like a great opportunity, like coming there and compete against like guys all over throughout the country. And they I say they great players as well. And I went up against a couple, like a lot of good receivers there. So it just I know it's something I feel like I could have done better on my performance, but it's all good. But it was definitely a blessing coming out there and competing though.
And that's good, always holding yourself accountable. A lot of people have some slip ups, or they'll do something where they think it's good and end up just letting it go, chalking it off to being all right. When you somebody, like I said, I've been around you. You somebody who wants better. Even if you did good, you want great. So that's always good there. And then another question I want to ask you. So you were formally committed to Ohio State, right? What kind of went into the process of you wanting to hold back and take your time into that recruiting process? Basically, what went into you decommitting?
I say just finding the right fit for me, and like not rushing nothing, like having my mind fully made up and where I want to be at, and what things I'm looking for into a school. And I say that's about it right there.
So you said certain things that you're looking for. What specifically is going to be at the like the highest priority for you now when you make that next and final decision?
Relationships. It's about relationships. I really value them, and I really value my relationships.
Yeah, that's always important because that's who's going to be looking out for you when you're at that next level. So relationships a good spot to really pay attention to. And then we just brought up Ohio State with them. You decommitted. Is this a school you still considering? Are they out the running? How you feeling there?
I don't I don't like.
Curtis always gonna ask the tough questions, man.
Hey, I didn't think it's tough. It's
No,
up to you.
no, hey, listen, man. You can be honest. You can say what you want to say, man. There's no pressure here, man. There's no pressure.
You can say you only want to talk on it. It's up to you, man.
Yeah, I don't really want to speak on it, but
I got you for sure.
No, it's all good, man. Like, listen, with us, man, you've talked to both of us in person before, so you know it's no pressure. Like, we just want to hang out, chop it up.
Yeah, we chopping it up. If it's something we ask and you don't want to, just be like,
if you don't want to answer it, just be like,
it.
hey,
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
want to answer it. You're good.
Look,
bro.
last week I had Sam. I'm like, who your leader? He's like, I want to say. I'm like, all right.
But yeah, man. So obviously, now that you've kind of backed off that Ohio State commitment, I'm sure you have a bunch of schools hitting you up about possibly trying to get you there. What schools are you talking to? What schools would you say you're considering taking visits to? Nope, you don't want to answer that?
no.
All right. That's cool. That's cool.
There we go. Like we said, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? If that's not what you want to talk about, we go up onto something else.
So we'll switch over from the recruiting process then. Obviously, you're coming up on your senior year in high school. You're getting ready to have what I expect to be a very big year. You had a big year last year, so I'm going to be watching. What are your goals going into your senior season this year, both individual and team?
Let's start off with the team. My team, I just want to be better than I was last year. Like, the work I put in it should like speak for itself when I come out there on Friday and compete and have fun and do what I do best. You know, I say like off the field, I just want to be a great leader. I want to be a great leader in the community and stay positive about things. Always have a positive mindset and just keep being a leader.
Yeah. I think I don't know if me and Connor will be able to make it out the game, but I'm for sure gonna come watch you play in person. I gotta see you strap some up. When you see me strap you up at FNL when you try to block, I'm 2-0 against you. I'm 2-0 against you, man. Don't cap. I know there's some film out there.
You strapped up.
You feel me?
This guy's always saying he can lock people up. He still never locked me up in 8 years of knowing this man.
If we run it, I'm locking you. I'm there.
No, but we definitely gonna slide down and check out a game for sure. We definitely gonna be out there.
He was cheating the fade though. He was cheating the fade, nah. Come on, nah.
Hey, I got right though. I got my hand on it both times. That's all I know.
All right, but no, man. So obviously you're at Wharton High School. They've got a history of producing Division I prospects. You're there with Stacey Gage now, who just transferred over from IMG. Vernon Hargraves, who played at Florida, was a number 1 cornerback in his class when he came out, went to Wharton. Is there anything like special about playing for that school specifically that you take in or anything like that?
I'll say first and foremost is the community is like great. Like community is like laid back. I say a lot of people. Nah, I don't know. I think some people like be overlooking it because they ain't been nothing in the last couple of years. But like I say, we turn everything around, and this gonna be that year though for sure. This gonna be the year though.
Yeah, from the team that I see that y'all got over there, it seems like this is going to be the year that everybody starts, okay, who is this school? Look back into the history of it because that school definitely does have history. I mean, they produce. They've definitely put people D1 and they've got NFL players. So I think this team, like Connor said, got some players, and I think y'all could do something this year. And then, so you didn't want to talk about visits, right? Were you talking about just regular visits or official visits too? You didn't want to talk on officials, none of that. You want to talk?
None of that.
Can you talk about coaches who does a good job as coaches talking to you?
Yeah, I say, coach. I say Coach Napier and Coach Raymond, they reach out pretty often. You know, we like built and like we starting to build a like good relationship. You know, so I'm definitely taking that to like existence. You know.
For sure, for sure. And is there any other schools that got coaches that good relationships with you?
I say Coach T-Rob at Bama. Ever since we've been talking pretty I've been talking like with Coach Franklin at Penn State too.
There's some big names too, so
yeah, Coach T-Rob, Coach Raymond, Coach Franklin at Penn State, all really well-respected coaches across the country. All can get you to the next level for sure. But speaking on a next level, you've talked a lot about your community and wanting to give back to your community. I could tell that's very important to you. So you make it to the next level. Obviously, you play college. If you get to the NFL, that first big payday, what's your first purchase? What's your first thing that you're gonna do when you get to the next level?
I'll probably say I want to take care of myself with like a car. I want not no real exotic, but like some a good ride.
You got a dream car?
Nah, I don't. That's crazy. I don't. That's the crazy thing. I just like good cars, you know.
yeah, no, that's for sure. You might need to find yourself go do some research. The path that you want, you got to do some research on some cars that you want.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you're gonna end up being able to grab one of your favorites for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then, so speaking about NFL, and getting to that level, what's one of your favorite NFL teams if you don't have a favorite?
I like Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's my team. You know, hometown kid. You
No
know.
surprise.
Nah, don't say that. That's bogus. Cause I don't know why. Ever since we won the Super Bowl the last 2 years ago, people talking about that's nah. But I can show y'all some. I've been a Bucs fan.
Nah, yeah, you in Tampa for
You
real.
from Tampa, yeah. So
So it makes sense. It makes sense, even when they wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah, for sure. We've been down a whole lot of years now. I've been like, and when we going,
got to celebrate when you up.
Yeah, so it's 2 years past. It's 2 years old, but it's still something that it's still like accomplished, and for that to be my team, that was great.
And they still
Most
a team that's in
definitely.
contention, and they had a good season last year
Oh,
too.
yeah, I think we're
Oh,
going to have another great
and
season.
anybody with Tom Brady's always in contention, man. The GOAT under center, they're always competing for a championship.
Yeah, no doubt.
But so, is there a specific player, either NFL or college, that you model your game after?
I'd say Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, he tall and physical, just like me. You know, I really like his game, what he could do, and how the Rams. I really like how the Rams use him, like in the slot and all that type of stuff coming off. So that's I like that.
So is that kind of how you want to be used at the next level? Kind of be able to move all over, not necessarily a specific college, but kind of the role you want to play at the next level?
I say, y'all, I like to do that, but I want to be on the island locking stuff down.
And that's some real confidence in yourself to be able to be one-on-one. No,
Yeah.
you don't want no help up top, just you be them.
Man, I'm a true man corner, man.
Yes, sir. That's why you better than me.
I play off too now. Don't
Nah,
get
for
it
sure.
wrong.
No, I know that, but shoot, better than me. I always want my help up top just in case. Just in case.
You know, you ain't gonna get on the island you ain't gonna get on. It's gonna be some help sometimes now, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think you straight though on that island. And if anything, you gonna have that up top. You see the classes that these schools are bringing in now.
So you've had the opportunity to compete against some really good players. Is there any one that really stuck out? Like maybe at Future 50, like one guy you were like, dang, this guy's really good.
Man.
I mean, I'm not saying he's better than you, but I'm just saying.
What receiver?
receiver, tight end, or maybe just another corner that you really thought played really well?
I like Zach Brent. That boy fast. He can
That boy
move. That boy moving.
serious.
Hey, me and Connor, we was talking about him. Like for me, and the wide receiver class nice this year, but he's like a different level.
Yeah,
I think he different.
That boy Brandon English too. That boy like that. That boy far. Yeah, shout out to that.
And how about corners, right? And because you a corner yourself, how do you feel when it comes to corners? Which other ones do you put up there?
Man, I put myself up there. That's what
That's
I do.
it. I like it. I like it, Cub. For sure. Is there so in your head, right? Because this is what I asked Sam last week. I asked him if you have a leader. He said, yeah. Then I said, will you say it? He said, no. But do you have a leader in your head right now or not?
A leader.
You don't got to say where it is, like where you want to go. Do you have a leader in your head right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you telling kids to go with you there?
Man, we'll see what happens.
For sure. That boy keeping it tight. I like that though. You know what it is. For sure. He go text me with the info though. So.
Hey, at least you get a text back, Curtis. I don't get no response, man.
Oh, you'll get no. Let me stop.
Hey, Bob, cause Bob.
I'm just messing with you, man. You good?
Hey, nah, he just trolling you. It's all love. You know what it is.
It's all love, bro. Come on.
For sure. Nah, that's. You funny. He was telling me about one time. He's like, "Oh, I gotta text you back." That you was telling Connor, you gotta text him back.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure. Connor, you got anything else for him?
No, man. I think the only same question we always ask everybody when we get to the end of it. Friday nights, you getting ready to strap up the pads and go play a game? What are you listening to in the headphones to get you ready for the game?
You know, I'm listening to NBA YoungBoy. You know, I like that YoungBoy. That's what get me turned. That boy.
For sure. My boy Taylor, he's the one who's behind the scenes. We actually had him on earlier talking about what he do. If you see him in the chat, he said, "Let's effing go right now," because he's a huge YoungBoy fan, and I'm Durkio all day, so he going crazy right now. he just put "Why be better."
Nah, I listen to Dirt. I listen to
a
Baby. I listen to a couple of everything, you know. But
why be make you?
My main artist is YoungBoy.
Yeah, he'll make you really crack some for real.
Yeah.
For sure. And then Connor usually asks, what's that song? Because we close out with a song after every episode. So if you had to choose a song to close this episode out with right now, which one is it?
That's hard. Hold on. Let me think.
It could be anybody.
I say NBA YoungBoy Soul Stealer. Yeah, that's right there.
I got you, bet. Taylor already typed it in the chat. He's hype. He's hype right now. So we'll close out with that. You know what it is. Appreciate you for stopping by. It's all love on this side. I appreciate you taking your time out that day. And then if you want to tell everybody where you find you, them socials, IG, Twitter, let us know.
Appreciate y'all for having me. But my Instagram is insane2es.dd and my Twitter is Dijon Johnson 13. Y'all go give me a follow and show me some love.
Yeah, all the teams that want him, y'all go ahead, blow up his likes.
Everybody want me. Yeah, go do that.
Yeah, follow him, show him some love. Y'all know what to do.
No
Insane DD. That boy go crazy.
No doubt.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate you, my boy. Be
all
safe.
All right, you too.
Yep.
All right, man. Man, Curtis, great episode, great interview.
Yes, sir.
He didn't want to give up too much on the recruiting process, but hey,
man,
we got more. We get a little bit more. We get a little bit more than just that, man. We got a lot of look into the side of his high school career, his personal life, a little bit, community, family, big to him. So, really a great interview. Really glad we could get DD on here, man.
And it's somebody, like I said, I'm personally close to. That's my boy, and he be meaning everything you say. So
for sure,
he really is a kid that puts other people first, and He wants to help. You know what I'm saying? And he definitely do think about the future. So probably going into the reason why he didn't want to really break down everything. We pulled out, what we could, but it's just he's thinking more of the future. So you don't want to say nothing now that ends up affecting him later. So
Yeah,
we
he's
respect, and that's what we do on the show. We respect. We're not going to force
nah.
nobody to say nothing.
No, there's
It's
no
not gonna be
pressure,
nothing.
man. No pressure here.
Yep. For sure, for sure. Let's close this out, my boy.
But yeah, man. With that being said, great. Like I said, great show. Roll up Varsity.
This
Signing off.
Varsity. We out, Varsity.